Does that work? Does that work?
It's almost like you were referencing a previous show. I don't even know if you have watched the other show, but we were talking about like poop on getting pooped on, getting shit on. Right, J Mike? You said you were kind of into that thing, right? It was, I don't know if it was last episode or 2 episodes ago. You were talking about your enjoyment of just being shit on.
Bruh. No.
I'm just look. There's continuity in the show, and if you don't follow it, there are things that will happen that are going to be bad.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even see the last episode, so that was out of nowhere for me. That was just purely my life in a nutshell.
You call that shit luck?
Context matters. Context matters. No. Last episode, I told the story about how, essentially, as I told you guys, I've got three youngins of my own, and when I think it was my youngest, was a baby, literally she pooped across the room. So I heard a fart, like, oh man, it's about to go down for this diaper that I'm changing, and it literally shot across the room against the wall, I'm not even going to describe it. Just know that is not the way you want your parenthood to start out. So recognize, Kent, with the new journey that you're about to embark upon, there will be trials, there will be dirty diapers, there will be tears, there will be sleep deprivation, there will be messes that you can't get off of you. You thought getting sprayed by a skunk was bad. What happens when you get pooped on and you smell it for 3 days, even though you've taken 5 showers? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why God made it that way.
Dude, I just want you to know, like, this is 100% true. I went to work. It's real. Like, poop. I swear to God. I just got throw up in the mouth last night.
Nice.
It's a thing, dude. It's a thing.
Welcome, Kent. Welcome, Kent.
What are y'all into,
thank
man?
you.
I don't feel like this is I feel like you put this upon yourself, like the throwing up thing. Like, a flock of birds? Are you raising birds?
I had my 10-month-old, like this, and I'm just like playing with her, just and all of a sudden just right in the mouth, and I'm like, no.
Wow.
It was bad.
Not like this.
All right, so Kent is pregnant. J Mike likes to get shit on. Zach likes to get thrown up into the mouth. I'm sorry, I already forgot your name because I'm so shitty at this and I'm not a good host at all tonight. I just know that you're Canadian, so we're gonna have to start there. My friend, do you have anything unique about yourself that might throw the viewers off or even me off? Because I don't think anything can throw me off at this point.
Well, Canadian Canuck Kyle Senra.
That's it.
Go with that. I just made that one up. I know it's not rehearsed like Kent's. It's not as impressive either, of course, but it'll get work on. As for throw you off, blow you away, if not that intro, on top of fantasy football, I play fantasy curling. I also actually play curling too. But
wow,
are you on your own team? Did you draft yourself? Because there's no way that they're
definitely not good enough to draft myself. It would be a mistake. I know.
But where are these rosters? Like, where do people come up with these rosters? Like, I feel like this is an 80s type of league where you have to write down everything, and you are definitely one.
Well, here's the thing. It's literally a thing my wife and I do. I haven't found it on any websites yet. Maybe I'm going to premiere it. Maybe the conception is coming right here of an actual league of this. But yeah, so in curling, what they do is when a player throws a stone, they give a percentage score on how successful it was. Essentially, it'll usually be a 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, right? Depending. And then each shot kind of divides it from there. And in the end of the game, a player has a percentage. So we converted that, divided it by 10, converted to just from a 0 to 10 scale. And then each game, you pick a roster. It's kind of like golf, how it's tournament to tournament, right? Like a kind of a DFS thing where you do a tournament for about a week and then they go to the next tournament. I suppose like NASCAR racing and car racing is like that too, right? It's event to event as opposed to a season per se. So you just pick per event and you can redraft teams. In curling, it's 4-person teams and they all have their own position. So like other fantasy sports, you can kind of customize how you want to position. Do you go 1 deep, 2 deep, 3 deep, flex spots? So you have that kind of flexibility there. I know eventually if ever it got automated, there's other things too. Like if you take out a stone, you get bonus points. There's other ways to kind of make it more complex. But doing it just manually, we just do the 0 to 10 scoring, and that's fantasy curling.
So do you have throwers and sweepers for positions?
Right. Well, everyone throws, like all the sweepers. They just take turns. Yeah, so it's each team throws 8 rocks, so 2 rocks each, and they just kind of have their order. So obviously the best sweepers, you want them throwing first. So on those last few shots, the most important, they're sweeping.
But yeah, I'm not too in tune to the curling, but I do know throwing and sweeping and rock and all that stuff. My mom was a curler when she was younger, actually.
This has got to be the most unique sport to just be hip into, and all the terms. Like you've already said, rocks, and I mean, I'm familiar with the sweepers, and I guess I figure I know what a rock is, but I don't care. I want in on this league. I think we need an open bar curling league. Can we do that? Is that possible? Can we make this happen?
Let's do it.
I mean, not like a fantasy league. I'd love to play the actual curling, but it's impossible for me to do that here. So a fantasy league is all that I am worth. So can we make this happen realistically?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible for sure.
Wow. J Mike, did you ever expect this happening on the intro to the open bar on September 24th, 2019?
Listen, Linda, listen. Fantasy curling, Kyle.
I saw it. That's a good line.
He's definitely not a dummy. Yeah. Or is he?
No. That dummy's no dummy. I just who if you had to name the top 3 curlers in the world, can you name them?
Well, I think we should just have a 1 through 5 draft right now, J Mike, with all the chitter chat and talk.
Hey, J Mike,
101 on the block.
One of the best curlers is from Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah, the Olympic team.
Duluth wins again.
Yeah.
Duluth keeps winning.
Yep. Speaking of Duluth, Hoops Brewing, man. I don't even get paid to say that. They're from Duluth, though.
This night's episode of the Open Bar is sponsored by Hoops Brewing.
Hoops Brewing.
Out of Duluth, Minnesota. Is that where it's from?
You got it.
That's right. We knew that because it's our sponsor on the Open Bar tonight. Speaking of, this is the Open Bar. I'm going to go ahead and intro the show for real this time because we're 8 minutes in and I forgot to do that because J Mike was too busy talking about getting shit on. And we had to talk about curling for a little bit. J Mike, I love you. I'm just kidding. I'm going to pass it to you in just a moment. Oh boy, it's live, and I am live, guys. I know I came in hot. I'm gonna give a quick shout out immediately to one of my best friends on all of fantasy football Twitter, Katie Flower, coming to visit me in real life. Okay, because we don't care about these virtual meetings that we have every week. Come on, guys. Why don't you just, purchase a ticket and come down and see your boy, okay? So shout out to Katie. Seriously, so much fun. Such a great person. We, obviously could talk easily about football, but we could also just talk about everything else. So quick shout out to her because it was just so incredibly fun to hang out with her. And I advise everyone to get together on FF Twitter and just have a good time, which is what we're doing here on the Open Bar. It's Tuesday. It's 9:30 Eastern-ish. We up in here. 3 new fellas. Man, I cannot believe that we let 3 rooks get in here, J Mike. What say you, my friend? How are you doing?
Listen, the force is strong with these 3. I feel a northern vibe, the northern winds of change, which I've never heard of in my entire life. It just sounded really good right now to say, considering the strong northern presence. Some might even say Viking feel. Nope, that doesn't even feel good either. I don't know. It's always good to be here, man. It's Tuesday, the last Tuesday in September of 2019 for us. So I'm happy to be here with you, man. Happy to see your face, Gabe. Happy to be able to talk through all the nonsense of life, like being dripped on by children and randomness. And I'm just excited to be able to get into all these backups on backups on backups and everything that's going on. So yeah, I'm here for it. Happy to be here. And I'm really excited to chop it up with these three this evening.
I mean, the drip, drip, drip kind of reminds me of backup QBs at this point. Well, at least some to a degree. Some are more surprising than others. It seems like you were expecting to just, hold that backup QB above your face and just get just thrown up all over by throwing them in your lineup. And it just somehow worked out for you if you threw in the better of the Allens in Kyle. Just swung for the fences. We'll get into that in a little bit. First, we'll talk about people that we care about, people that make this show a show. We need guests, and they're all here for the very first time. This is great, guys. I'm looking for a comment in YouTube because, excuse me, in some world where there is a YouTube chat, there is someone said something about a person that is here. Here it is. I will open with this. Jesse, friend of the show, he's basically introducing all of our guests. So I'll go ahead and let him introduce our first one. Strong cast. Kent is a stud. Kent, welcome to the show. Do you agree?
I mean, I want to be humble, right? So I don't want to come out here and say I'm a stud. But if Jesse's saying it, I'm going to go ahead and say Jesse is right.
Jesse's usually never wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, glad to be here. Honestly, I've seen this show quite a few times, pop in and out, and it's always a good time and even better to be here. So very excited.
Yeah, clearly saw the poop episode. I appreciate you doing your homework and we did. J-Mike, we put him in charge of the show sheet, yeah?
That we did.
Okay, cool. We will get into that later, Kent. We appreciate that. All right. Who do we got next? I forgot who is who in terms of the Vikings and the Packers fans. I want to group the Vikings with the Vikings. Unless Kent, were you the Packers fan?
No, absolutely not. No.
Who's the other Viking fan?
Me and Kent are the Vikings fans.
Okay, Zach. Up next, then. Welcome to the show, my friend. Hold on, wait a second. I'm not going to introduce you yet because you, my friend, are married.
I sure am, man.
Congratulations. We tried to get you on the show 2 weeks ago, like 4 or 5 days before your wedding.
I try to work it out, but man.
You to come and do it, and then you canceled, and I was like, no, that yes, cancel 1,000 times yes. But
good reason.
I'm happy you did that, but also happy that you're here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, no, I appreciate you rescheduling me. I'm glad I could be on. It was a wild time for a little while there. It was there's a lot going on. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad you could fit me in.
And what does the wife think? What does the wife think of this little escapade that you're going on tonight?
Oh, she loves it, man. She loves it. I think we can all agree that there's a little bit of sarcasm there.
I feel like you're in a basement right now, and I feel like you're whispering.
Nope. Living room. The stairs are right there. I know if you're listening on the podcast, you probably can't see where I'm pointing, but straight upstairs there.
Zach, just blink twice if you need us to call 911. She's holding you at gunpoint or something crazy.
Oh man, no. I mean, not to get sappy, but I'm a lucky one. She's pretty good at letting me do all this stuff. So it's all good. That's why I married her, right?
There you go.
Nice.
Shout out Miss NFL Zach.
That's
there
right.
You go.
Look at the man, 2 weeks in, so confident in marriage. Gotta love that. All right. On to the next. My Canadian Canuck of a friend, Kyle. I don't want to really do that. Well, it's fine with the alliteration, the CKK. That's fine. We can say that. Nice to have you. CCK, rather. Nice to have you. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, first, alliterations are awesome.
Yes. Preach.
And yeah, I'm doing great. Love to be on. Love to talk. Love to show off. So I am.
Perfect. Boy, howdy. We have probably a lot of things to talk about. I don't know. Should we open up with Wayne Gallman? I mean, I feel like this is our chance to finally. My question is 80% or 100% on the fab budget for old Wayne.
Ooh. I'm for being such a northern person, I'm way south of that number. Personally, that feels like a bit much out of the old pocketbook there. I probably only spend about 20%, and that's only if I really need him because he is not that good.
Yeah, I'd rather have Paul Perkins.
I was going to say the same thing.
I want Darkwa to come back.
Did you see Darkwa posted that like GIF the other day? He's just like rocking in a chair, waiting to get the call. Yep. He's so funny, man. That was great.
We're ready. We ready. Yeah, let's not talk about that. I don't know. Is there what popped out from y'all on week 3? The first thing that I would say, J Mike, is what does he have to do?
Come on. We talk about this all the time. What does Mike Evans have to do to get some respect? We were shoveling dirt over him after 2 weeks.
Yep.
Chris Godwin doing his nastiness. And finally, he showed y'all what was up. He did his best Sammy Watkins week 1 impression. He was close. He was really close. He got the same number of touchdowns, almost as many yards, almost as many catches. He's almost Sammy, you know. But yeah, he was fantastic. It's good to see him finally get right.
I think you've seen what you just saw what he had to do to get some respect. Put up 3 touchdowns and 190 yards.
What a weird year to have so many 3 touchdown games already. Just
yeah, no kidding.
Some diversification would be great, guys. Some consistency be easy to.
Did you guys know Taylor Gabriel was going to get 3 touchdowns this year at all in a single game?
I didn't know he was going to get that total. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. That too.
Yikes. Anthony Miller, anyone?
Where you at, dude?
Oh, I'm so sad. I loved Anthony Miller coming out of the draft, and he is just it's been frustrating, man. He's been injured. You know, he had the shoulder deal last year, and now Trubisky's just doing whatever he's doing out there, and it's not a good look.
And then the injury too. I mean, the timing of he got there was like a 22% snap count to 52% from week 1 to 2, and then he stayed at 52% again. So it looked like he was on track to play more, and then suddenly they're not playing him more. So is that his role for the year? He should, he's talented. Like you said, he's a good draft prospect, and he should expand. But
when Taylor Gabriel catching 3 touchdowns, that should not be happening. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, it worked for them, but for fantasy purposes, it's just kind of makes you want to throw up a little bit. If you want to circle back to the throw up one more time here.
The throw up throwback.
Yeah, there you go.
Can we just go back to the part where Mitch Trubisky sucks? he is destroying.
Holy cow!
Between him and Nagy,
oh, man.
They're destroying everything that is good about what we hope for this offense.
Yeah.
Can we go back to that?
He is such a backwards quarterback because you should be good, like, standing in the pocket, stepping up, delivering the ball 10, 15 yards deep, right? This guy is only good if he's on the run and thrown to the left. And that's it. I mean, the only throws he makes are when I think that are on the money is when he's on the run. It's weird, but when he's
Baker is so jealous.
Oh, he is. Yeah, because Baker's having a hell of a year, isn't he? Dude, I just don't
throwing on the run.
Just don't stare down Odell Beckham the whole entire time. You'll be okay. Find someone else.
Trust that pocket.
Trust the pocket. Except that offensive line is kind of not doing well either.
You know what? Why are they not giving David Montgomery like 20 touches a game though? Does anyone know? It's coming. I hope so. I bought him. Huge fan of Montgomery, but I want to see it, man.
Yeah, I agree. He was my favorite running back coming out of the class this year, and going to the Bears, I actually thought that was a pretty good landing spot. And I expected more too. He's very talented, and through college had a big workload, so it's not like there's questions. Oh, can he handle that? I mean, it's tougher in the NFL obviously than in college, but I don't know. I agree. He should be getting around 20 touches a game, and not necessarily all carries. He can catch the ball pretty well.
I had a really drunk, pissed off tweet last night of a video of David Montgomery.
Uh-oh.
It's just like, look at this run. It's so good. Get this man the ball. It's got a lot of hits.
This is on your Twitter?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go find that for sure. I don't know how I'm going to play it, but I'm playing it.
So you're the Bears. Obviously, Pace won GM of the year or executive of the year. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? When was that?
I think it was. I think it
might have been last season. Yeah, I think it was last season. He wins GM of the year or whatever that award is. You've got weapons, obviously all around. You draft a running back. You've got a true workhorse back in Cordero Patterson, and you've got someone named Mitchell Trubisky who is weighing down the entire operation. If I wave a magic wand and you all are the new GMs and new coaches of the Chicago Bears, what is your first order of business in fixing this team?
Get a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the short answer, I guess. Until then, there's some things that they could do on offense that would kind of mask his problems a little bit. Maybe they should run a little more like quick hitting RPO stuff. But yeah, they should go back to what was working for him last year, and I feel like they've strayed away from that a little bit.
I was going to say that RPO stuff really worked for him last year. I haven't watched every single Bears game, but I did not see like a whole lot of that last night at all.
Yeah.
And are they worried that Montgomery can't handle that system? Because Trubisky showed he could.
Well, I mean, Jordan Howard handled that system pretty well.
Yeah.
You would think David Montgomery would be even better.
I would think
it's not
so.
like they're running him enough that's the reason they wouldn't do it.
Right.
Actually, short answer, I think Kent already referenced it. I'd give David Montgomery more carries. If I was coaching them, I certainly would start there. And have him and Tariq Cohen both run as receivers. I mean, they're both capable. I can get some good mismatches there and really confuse the defense.
Why can't I play this simultaneously, guys? I found his video. Can we just I mean, there's 12,000 views on this, Zach, you stud. Why don't you just repeat it for us on air? Can you do it exactly how you said it on the video?
Oh, dude, I'm I have a crappy computer and the volume's not even working. And I honestly think the volume's just broken on it, so whatever.
What are you talking about? Just reenact it, Zach. Do it again.
Okay. All right. Hang on, just wait. I gotta get the video up.
You can surprise us too. You can just say it out of nowhere, like whenever.
All right. So David Montgomery, he runs
into
there's the back of the offensive line, and he runs. He stutter steps, does his little Le'Veon Bell, best Le'Veon Bell impression I've ever seen, and then he just cuts hard to the right, cuts up, gets a 20-yard gain. Why aren't you running this guy more?
All right.
I nailed it. I crushed it. So that was just like how I did it in the first place.
We're going to check back on that. We're going to play the side-by-side. All right. I know we are all looking to how to fix the Bears. J-Mike, do you want to talk about what's on our screen here? If you were watching live on YouTube or Periscope, those are the options for watching the open bar on Tuesdays, 9:30 Eastern-ish. J-Mike?
Listen, are you talking about Anthony Miller by season? Listen, I'm similar to Kent. I am as big of a fan of Anthony Miller as probably his entire family. I really, really, really think and still think that he's going to be someone who obviously legitimately can be a number one for an offense because he's got enough speed to be able to make plays down the field. He can do everything that you want a wide receiver to do. Just please give him a chance. Mitchell Trubisky, I need you to get it together sooner rather than later. And I think that my first order of business, if I'm Bears GM, is and let me ask you guys this, because a guy that kind of has gotten lost in the shuffle in all of this, who was really good last year, Tariq Cohen. They highlighted in during Monday Night Football that they highlighted the fact that only since 2017, only one other person has had 500 plus snaps in the backfield, 150 snaps in the slot, 150 snaps out wide at receiver, and that's Tariq Cohen and Alvin Kamara. Those are the only two guys. Tariq Cohen, didn't he finish as an RB1 last year? Like in PPR, wasn't he like on the outskirts?
Yeah. He was at the fringe. If he it depends on your league, but I think so.
So we know that he can be effective too. So we've got an absurd amount of playmakers for this team. Like I guess I'm having trouble with the fact that they're starting slow when everybody came back. All right. You add Mike Davis, you add David Montgomery, but all the receivers came back. Everybody. And I don't understand to a large degree why we can't make things easier for Trubisky, or even like you guys are saying, why we're not just lining up and giving Montgomery more work. And I'm not even mad at the Cordero Patterson runs. He's a super talented player too. He's obviously fantastic. Listen, I'm sorry, he's good.
Second and 3 or third and 3. I don't know. Whatever and 3. I don't care what it is. First and 3, second and 3, third and 3, fourth and 3, and you're gonna run an I formation with Cordero Patterson, J. Mike. That's your go-to.
He did say he was the starting running back, so.
I mean, and they did that.
No, excuse me, Kent. I said workhorse.
Oh, I apologize. Workhorse. That's correct.
You could be a workhorse. You missed the one starting snap, so you're not a starter.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter if you start, you finish.
It's funny, against the Packers, they ran a similar play. It was a 3rd and 1, and Cordell Patterson I formation up the middle. Kenny Clark blew it up, and it was like a -2 loss. But it's
pretty obvious what their goal is there when they do that. They recognize that it's not Tariq or David Montgomery, and they're like, huh. Interesting. They did highlight Tariq though in week 1. He had mad targets, didn't he? Was it career high in targets or career high in receptions? Something of the, I don't know. He just was. We talked about it. We considered him like, well, okay, what's going on here? Like, yeah, we were worried about Montgomery, but it looked like Cohen's had a role solidified. And it doesn't matter if Montgomery had his or Mike Davis had his, because it was separate from that. So I don't know what happened from week 1, but things have certainly changed. I guess game scripts have changed. They were behind a lot in that Packers game, but not like by a terribly large amount.
7 points, most of it.
Yeah.
Like actually, most of it was probably just 4 points. That was a funny game because he didn't even see a carry. Like they played him pretty much almost as a slot receiver the whole time. 10 targets. I'm pretty sure last year he had a 12 target game, so I don't know if it'd be a career high.
Okay.
49 yards also doesn't seem like it's a career high, but you're right. Like that type of target usage, we saw it last year, and like you said, we saw it once this year. I was looking at
business as usual, right?
And I was looking at snap counts. He played 70% of the snaps in that game. Then last 2, it's been 38 and then 48 last night.
Whew.
And I mean, a lot of that's Montgomery. He went up from 38, 44 to 67% last night. Yeah. So it does, what Ken and I want, and I'm sure a lot of people besides Kent and I want this, but David Montgomery is getting on the field more, and that's, I suppose, a good thing. But I guess there is a way to get them both on the field too, as I mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. And they would do that last year too with last 2 years with Jordan Howard. So I don't see how that couldn't work with Montgomery as well.
Referencing what Kyle's saying here in the chat, waiting for Anthony Miller to break out as their wide receiver 1. Didn't he say not only that, but didn't he say they don't have a wide receiver 1? It was something along those lines. I'm pretty sure. Booger just out there saying stuff, man. He doesn't know what he's saying.
That was scary.
Yeah.
What in the world? I was so upset. Poor Allen Robinson.
Let's put Booger on the sidelines and have him just ruin everyone's lives and then put him up in the booth.
Come on, man.
I looked up the Cohen thing quickly.
At least give some respect to Taylor Gabriel, okay?
Especially after that 3-touchdown performance.
Yes, we know who the WR1 is.
Can I ask a quick question from last night's game? Who on the field, in terms of wide receivers, would you rather have any of the Bears guys moving forward, or would you rather have Terry McLaurin?
Scary Terry McLaurin. Woo! Please and thank you.
Especially if you believe in Dwayne Haskins, that actually does seem like a pretty easy decision. there's games where Allen Robinson could get 14, 15 targets, right? But there's also games where he could get 3-4 targets. It seems that's the nature of the Bears offense, right? Nagy's looking for the mismatch at all times and sort of designing that to be the primary thing. So some games Robinson's featured, others not. It seems like McLaurin's going to consistently be the top receiver on that team for maybe years to come. At least this season, anyway, it looks like.
So I don't know if you guys saw the stat. I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on Reddit. Terry McLaurin, first wide receiver in NFL history to have at least 5 receptions and a touchdown in each of his first 3 games. Never been done before. Scary Terry did it. Scary Terry.
With Case Keenum as his quarterback.
Yeah, isn't that the most ridiculous part? Like, there's this supposed cohesion between Dwayne Haskins and him from college, and that hasn't even happened yet. We got Case Keenum out here slinging the ball, throwing it like practice dummies at their feet and stuff. It's just nuts. But he got it done with Terry, and Terry's making him look good. I know that much.
No. Yeah. So
Gabe, did you answer?
I'm not gonna throw away Allen Robinson like that. I can't.
Well, I mean, you're throwing away Allen Robinson, and then like the prospect of Anthony Miller eventually being something. Because I mean, you got to think, how long did he deal with that shoulder injury? And I mean, coming back from injuries isn't easy. I mean, I think we've seen that with Dalvin Cook last year. So I mean, maybe he's still kind of, I don't know, hurting a little bit, gun shy. I don't know, but I think he's a stud, Anthony Miller. I think he's going to be a stud eventually. I don't know. I might even take him over Terry McLaurin. And we're talking about 3 weeks of good ball. I mean, I might even take A-Rob and Anthony Miller over him. And we're talking dynasty, right? I mean, we're not talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd take those 2 over Terry still. See, I like Terry, and I mean, I didn't hate him coming into the draft process, and I did a lot of work on him. But I mean, I didn't see anything that really like stood out to me as like this stud type of receiver. Putting up good numbers, and I love it. I definitely don't hate seeing the guy succeed, but I just don't think long term that you're going to be seeing these types of numbers from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, they could very easily go early with wide receiver next year and have an immediate replacement, or at least just competition. We'll see how the end of the season goes, and if he really is, this highlight of a wide receiver 1, we'll see. But I don't think Trey Quinn is safe.
Well, actually, I guess maybe the biggest fear on the team is probably Kelvin Harmon, to be honest, because that's someone else who will develop as another rookie right alongside him. So maybe that's the competition.
I honestly think that is a good competition. I think he's really good. But yeah, I mean, it's probably one of those. I honestly said this before, where it's like, maybe they're just trying to get him some practice reps first, get him feel for the NFL before they really just throw him into the fire. Kelvin Harmon, that is.
I need some reception perception on McLaurin F1, which is apparently his other nickname other than Scary Terry. But Matt Harmon, we're calling you out on the open bar. We need to get you on the charts, my friend. Terry McLaurin, we need to know about his targets for the first 3 games, and we need that pronto. So if you could just get that to us by week 4, that would be absolutely great. No one at him, please. No one at him. Do not at him.
Where did the F1 nickname come from? Or Scary
John Proctor, to my knowledge.
Okay.
I figured it just drove out of nowhere. It came in so fast that no one knew.
John Proctor said he was in the garage in preseason until he had to release him into the regular season, into the wild, in the McLaurin F1.
Into the wild.
I like it.
This is maybe a super hard pivot, and I think we even touched on it for a quick moment in or earlier on. But can we please talk about Devonta Freeman? He's a guy that I love dearly. And one of the things that I just watched in that Colts game, one of the things that he's not doing right now that he used to do when he was right, or maybe he's lost a step. I don't know what it is, but he could make people miss in small spaces. And if you're watching the Colts game, routinely, he's going to plant and cut, and he's getting tackled a lot. He's still running. He still has some power, and you're seeing him run through folks, but also just being taken down and not making people miss. I'm really scared for Devonta Freeman, and I still have hopes that he'll be fantastic, if for nothing else, similar to Fournette right now on the volume alone, especially with Ito Smith going down. But Devonta Freeman moving forward, can we talk about his prospects, how you guys feel about him, or what you're doing with him in your leagues?
I mean, I have no choice but to hold it because I have him in a ton of leagues, so it's not like I can go out and buy him. Maybe you sell high on the performance, but I think you're right. The volume is gonna, should be there from now on, at least until maybe Quadre Olson or Brian Hill establishes and takes away role. But yeah, I think that I'm liking him to kind of better his performances now that he gets goal line carries and that was going to Smith in the first 2 weeks, which is kind of strange to see because Freeman had done so well in the past. And a big chunk of his value is tied to touchdowns. So as long as he's getting those goal line carries, I like to hang on to him and ride it out, I think.
God, I miss the RB1 days of Devonta Freeman.
Right?
The RB1. Yes.
Yeah.
The RB1.
You remember when he took over that starting job over Tevin Coleman? They had that that running back battle in the offseason. And everyone's talking about Tevin Coleman being like this next big thing, and then all of a sudden Devonta Freeman steps in, and it's like, no, it's going to be Freeman, and he steps up and just has, it becomes a stud, becomes a household name, becomes the guy that you want on your fantasy team. And now it's like, all right, what do you do with him? It's a good question. I don't know.
I told y'all off air, but we can certainly say it on air and possibly discuss it in terms of if you are trying to get out or trying to acquire either end. I received a trade offer from a man that shall not be named.
You're giving it away by saying man, though.
Shit. 2021 round 2 draft pick for Devonta Freeman. What say you all?
If it was 2020, I think I'd take it.
I'd pull it at 2020, yeah.
Yeah, but the 2021 makes me lean back towards Freeman.
Oh, J-Mike, let me tell you about this 2020 class. I mean, you're talking about this being like the 2020 seconds are like equivalent to 2019 firsts. I'm telling you, I mean, this class is going to be sweet. 2020 seconds are going to be it's always tough to acquire 2020 first. Like, go after a 2020 second. Like, those are going to be, it's going to be like, all right, sure. You know what I mean? Like, if you can get Freeman for a 2020 second, I'd take the 2020 second.
Oof.
Man,
roast me.
No, I'm in. Why would I roast you, man? You're perfectly roasted.
I'm taking you out the oven. You're perfectly roasted. Hold on, let me sprinkle some salt on you. You perfectly roasted.
Man, so if you're a team that's contending, can you tell yourself a story where Matt Ryan continues to be really fantastic, if you will? Can you tell yourself a story where Devonta Freeman's going to be getting more scoring opportunities and becomes, I don't know, pushes toward RB1? Or you guys are saying, hey, obviously we've seen as good as it's going to get, not just as good as it's going to get, but we've seen basically, fringe RB1 numbers from Freeman days gone by. Like, it's not, we're done here.
No, I mean, I think he'd be fine for the rest of the season on a work basis. He's going to get 18 touches, 3 to 4 receptions. He's pretty solid in all formats. But my biggest question for him right now is health. And if I'm going to try and go all in, I don't know if he's the guy I'm looking to do. What if you trade for him and he only plays 6 more weeks and then you're out during the playoffs and then you just wasted a pick for absolutely nothing? And that's my biggest concern. He hasn't played a full season since 2016. For that reason, I don't think he'd be one of my targets for that, unless it was cheap enough, obviously, where it just made perfect sense.
And that's the thing, though. Like, talking about cheap enough, I mean, you can't sell him for, anything. I mean, you can't sell him for a 2021 second. Like, that's just not. You can't do that. If you're gonna, if you're selling, you might as well try to sell for, as much as you can give for him, I guess. It's gonna be one of those things where you can maybe sell by saying, Ito Smith got hurt. He's going to be the workhorse. Like, you can do something like that. I think if you're going to try to sell, you kind of do it on the basis of, he's probably going to get more work now that his backup got, or I guess the goal line back got hurt and there's no one there. So you can maybe sell just based off that information alone.
This might be the saddest day of my fantasy life. This is wow. I am.
You weren't ready for tonight, were you?
No, I was not. It's like an intervention that I did not ask for, but I totally asked for because I asked the question again after we had already talked about it. And you know what? I'm done.
Hey, this is what you get when you bring 3 newbies on with just curveballs coming at you.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
You did this.
The problem isn't what you said. The problem is I kind of agree and I don't like it.
Yeah, that's why I said hold. I wouldn't say buy, because and you got to think anyone who took him. Let's say even if it was a startup this year, probably took him 3rd, 4th round. I don't know if he would have slipped any further than that, right? So anyone selling him, like you guys mentioned, probably wouldn't want to sell him cheap. And yeah, selling him for 21 seconds seems like that's pretty cheap. I mean, you don't get that for 2 seasons, and then even then a 2nd round pick in 2021. Is that really going to give you immediate impact? Maybe if you're lucky, but you're looking at 3 years before you get any production out of it, right? So I would, if I was going to sell Freeman, I'd prefer to get like a younger player, maybe one of the rookies that came out this year, or even a 2nd-year wide receiver that just hasn't broken out yet. If that you really wanted something future, at least then you can have a chance at production this year and certainly next season.
Go see if
Scary
you can
Terry or
get DK or
Devonta.
something.
Oh, geez.
Scary Terry, I think.
Like by a lot?
If I wasn't contending, probably, but
so
a contender. Context matters, right? If I was contending, then yeah, that would be a lot tougher to do, right? Especially if you're, unless you were like super deep at running back, and you could afford to just let him go without getting a running back. But yeah, for a team that's like, if I'm looking at 0-3 right now, and do I really want to like go out and make trades just to try and like get into the playoffs? And maybe that's a point to sell. And yeah, I think looking at Terry might be. I don't know. Maybe that's buying too high after this production. I'm shocked that this is coming out of Washington. So maybe that's me. I just said I feel like most people did too. Just low expectations for them. So anything productive is just like earth shattering. So maybe that shine is too strong. But I don't know. Really like what you've seen from him so far.
Go get DK for Freeman, because DK is the 101 this year anyway. I'm not lying.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely. I definitely do that. Yeah.
Is Jake
I don't know if the DK person would be willing to sell him.
I believe he is.
DK is the man. You want to talk about him for a bit?
Sure. What have you got to say?
Going to be the best wide receiver in the game.
Yeah.
Wait, in what game? In this Sunday's game?
In the NFL. In the NFL. Give him 2 years, and he's going to be. We're talking about him being like one of the top 5 wide receivers drafted in fantasy football.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that.
Is Tyler Lockett still playing for the Seahawks?
They don't need him no more. They cut him.
Honestly, though, they could keep both. It doesn't matter. They have Russ throwing the ball. That's fine. Like, have 2 upside wide receivers like that. It's all gravy, baby.
It won't matter when they take Cam Akers in the first round this year. Pair him with Carson and Rashad Penny and go from there. So
yeah, have fun with that committee.
What's up, Wing T? What's up, Wishbone?
If the Seahawks take a running back, I'm going to be so pissed.
They'll take one, I'm sure, somewhere between rounds 1 and 7.
And I know Jake
beyond considering Carson.
I know Jake
bold,
is in the chat. Jake is in the chat. Yeah, super bold, Gabe. Well done. Jake is in the chat. And I know that DK Metcalf has been his man's. And while what's been fun to watch about DK is he's winning all the same ways that he was winning in college, which is not obviously it shouldn't be crazy for us to think that, hey, this guy who was really good when he was healthy in college, he's actually still really good when you put him around amongst his peers because he's still really big, he's still really fast, and he's still really strong. Those things don't change when you're as massive as he is. So I'm excited for him. I just at the end of the day, I'm still here for Russell Wilson always. The problem is Schottenheimer.
Oh,
just going to leave that there.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
Right,
it's a real problem. What was that? The draw play that they had on 4th and 4, 5 or whatever. Oh, that was disgusting.
I'm hearing a lot of it. Didn't Cleveland have something like that too? I feel like that was the thing this week. Everyone wanted to draw.
Yeah, I don't know.
4th and medium draws. Is that like a thing? Like they pick this random play out of the hat, and if you get a chance, you have to run this in the game sometime. It's a challenge. Okay, so this week, Detroit, you guys have to, toss a Hail Mary on 1st and 1 on 1st and 1. I don't know how you get that.
First and 1
penalty, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be a weird penalty.
Something I don't know. Yeah,
be a spot of the penalty.
That doesn't. No, I don't think that could ever happen.
Yeah, I don't think you can gain a down.
No.
Like the opposite of intentional grounding, go from 2nd to 1 to 1st and 1. That's not a blink, but he certainly left. What do we do, guys? Did we talk about this? What happens when Zach leaves? Is he coming? Is he going to come back? Do we think he's going to?
Well, now we can tell the truth about
Zach. Okay, yeah, I agree. DK Metcalf sucks ass. Have you seen his 3-cone? My goodness. Hey, Zach.
Hey,
what about DK?
How are you? Did you have
those headphones really are good?
What did you do?
I had to grab a beer.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good now.
All right.
You got another beer, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We were just worried. That's all.
No, we're good. We're good. I was actually looking up DK's route tree real quick.
It's like you just ran a DK route, a go route to the fridge.
So far the Quant Edge has the Quant Edge has 13 routes charted for him, 5 go routes, which is obviously the most, 4 fades, 3 slants, and 1 post. Yeah, so he can run more than go route, guys. Just so you know.
Facts. Do you guys know who is leading the NFL in catches right now amongst wide receivers?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
Gotta be Keenan Allen.
John Ross is probably close though.
I was going to say he's second in yards.
Yeah. He didn't have a great week 3 though. He's probably
a terrible week 3.
True.
Yeah, John Ross,
which was expected, right? Against Buffalo. I don't know.
Even week 2 was a bailout week, honestly.
Yeah.
He had 2 for 20 something against the Bills. It was not good. Fantasy.
Hey, Mike, all your takes are they're done.
Bro, the whole reason why I said it week 1 because I knew it wouldn't always.
We said that was your show.
Listen, week 1, I'm getting this in now because this will not last. I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Yeah, you're right.
Kobe, let me ask you this, Gabe. Speaking of takes gone bad, do you happen to know who in PPR is the number 6 wide receiver? His last name ends in up. Not sure if you want to.
So I have to do a public apology. Is that what you want? A public apology.
No. More than anything, I think that I have to make a public declaration. As much as I like, as much as I like Robert Woods, and this is me watching these 3 games. The whole dummy blitz thing, trying to pay attention to everything and whatever. I love Robert Woods. He's one of my favorite receivers in the NFL. Brandon Cooks, he's electric. He's fantastic. I am willing to say this, Gabe. Cooper Kupp is better than I thought he was.
Okay? All right, I can buy that.
Yeah, you set it up big there, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
He's better than I thought he was, and he's good. He's really good. I can't even front. He's good. And Jared Goff is always going to look for him. Always. So how can you?
I just want the slot receiver on a high octane offense. That's all I think I want ever again. It seems that is the case for. That's my guess. I don't know. I haven't seen the slot percentages, but I'd imagine that's where a lot of his success is coming from. Shout out to Cooper Kupp, blah blah blah. Brandon Cooks for life. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. I just needed to say that.
Fair enough. Well, let's ask our guests here. We do have 3 other people on the show. What is your take on the Rams wide receivers thus far? Dynasty, redraft, whatever you're feeling. You can give a ranking. You can leave guys out. I don't care. Just give me your thoughts, man.
Stay away from them. I mean, I just can't put and it's not because they're not good. Like it's not that. I hate having those guys where it's going to be like, okay, what week is this guy going to do good? You know what I mean? That's the only reason why. I mean, all 3 of these guys are really good at what they do. I hate the ups and downs and who's going to do what this week. And I mean, last week it was Kupp. I mean, the week before it was Kupp too. I mean, even last week, Brandon Cooks had was it last week that Cooks had a good game? Or I should say just this last week?
Cooks had a dud last week, I believe. And week 3, he had a great game though. Yeah.
That's what it was. Week 3 had a pretty good game. So it's one of those things. It's like where, not all 3 can have good production. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, one's going to have a bad game. 2 might have a bad game. So trying to decide who's going to do what is kind of a pain in the ass.
I don't know if Woods has had
had 3
dependable game.
Pretty disappointing so far. Yeah.
Pretty disappointing overall, I'd say.
This is his week.
Right.
I'm telling you, because he's had 3 duds and the other 2 have had 2 good games. It's his turn now. It's like, it's sharing. Sharing is caring.
I was going to say, they'll come.
You're going to have a kid here soon, Ken. You got to learn that sharing's a thing, all right? They're going to...
Got that baby. Sharing. Throw up in my mouth.
All I know is all 3 of them are excellent best ball guys. And in any other kind of league, it's not fun. To put it pretty bluntly, I have Cooks on a few rosters. I mean, he's so electric. He's been so good on 3 different teams now and putting up 1,000-yard seasons and good solid touchdown numbers. But you just cannot rely on him week to week. And it's frustrating. And it's same with the other 2 guys. So Woods, I thought, was really the model of consistency between the 3 of them. But now with Cooper Kupp back, I don't know if that's the thing anymore.
Just think if Brandon Cooks was still in New Orleans and had that same chemistry with Breeze for that many years.
Ooh.
Be so weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
You mean Teddy Bridgewater now, though, right?
Oh yeah, Teddy Bridgewater.
Kyle, what say you about the Rams wide receiving core?
Well, if we look as recently as last week, I mean, Cooks and Kupp both got 12 targets. So there's games where you can have 2 guys be relevant, but you're right. Rarely you'll ever have all 3 of them, produce as you want them to, fantasy wise. I'm just going back and looking at like game splits from last year and seeing if there's any games where like all 3 were able to kind of explode, get big production. Against the Vikings, all 3 of them had 100 yards. And that's a good defense. But that was also like, again, a 38-31 kind of shootout game. So you need those like really high scoring games, but
you would bring that game up.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Nice. It was subtle.
I mean, I think Kupp didn't play against the Packers, but the other 2 both had 70 yards against the Packers.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
That was very kind.
So Zach, you say you were, and I agree with you, by the way. I want to open up by saying that because I think I even mentioned, like, we did a show sometime, said who are we avoiding, and I did say the Rams wide receivers, kind of for the reason that you are stating here. But what about the side of the what is it, the stick, the what's the phrase? The side of the what? The other side of the coin? Okay, sure.
Yeah. I don't. You're speaking
Flip a coin either one.
What's the other side of something? The other side of the moon? The other side of the
now you're making stuff
basketball.
Listen to you.
Okay. All right. I'm making stuff up. J Mike says carry on. All right. So anyway, think about this. We have the Rams offense and we have the Jaguars offense. Huh? Who do you trust more?
Hey,
the Rams for sure.
The Rams. Okay.
Oh,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I know.
Answer,
How
but
disrespectful.
Cool.
But we got DJ Shark. Do. We have Conley. We have an undetermined wide receiver 3. It might be Dede Westbrook. We thought he was the one, and there's still time. Sure. I think Dede is representing Robert Woods at this point. Maybe it's Keelan Cole. Maybe it's Marquise Lee. They're still lurking. But my point is, with those three guys, or 4 or 5, whatever it kind of is, let's say 3 and say Dede is the third. I feel like there is a decision to be made with those guys as well, but that's more of like a flex decision. Like week 3 was finally the week where we were like, should we start DJ Shark? Should we actually do that? Whereas when you've got Cooks, Woods, Kupp, you are smashing them into your lineup in whatever format that you're in. I'm just curious if y'all have an opinion about that, because I do agree with it. I agree with it ultimately that, like, yes, these are better offenses, but we're on the side of like, but we don't know who's going to have the game. So where's the line, you know?
I think for me, the biggest I think DJ Shark seems like a pretty good option right now, good long-term asset. But my biggest problem right now with the Jaguars is that it's an awesome story. I'm waiting for the wheels to fall off on Gardner Minshew. I mean, you don't fall. You don't
say that.
You don't fall to the 6th round for no reason these days. We like scouts, analytics, everything is as good as it's ever been. You don't just fall to the 6th round and then magically be good. I love the guy. He's a very entertaining dude.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. He could be.
Talk to him, Zach. Talk to him.
I'm just saying, if the wheels fall off, I will not be surprised.
I don't know, man. He's okay. So, I mean, talking about the Jags, talking about the Rams. I mean, yes, there's 2 totally different offenses and 2 totally different coaches. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And I mean, I'll be the first to tell you right now. I mean, Kupp. I mean, not the first to tell you. Everyone's told you this. Kupp, Woods, and Cooks are better than Dede, Conley, and Shark. I mean, it's just. I mean, as plain as day. And if you're going to look for the wide receiver 1 in either one of those offenses, you're probably not going to find it. But if you wanted to, I mean, if you look at it from like a draft standpoint, like you drafted Woods, Cooks, and Kupp fairly high in your draft, more than likely, and you drafted Shark, Westbrook, Conley. Conley probably didn't even get drafted. Shark probably didn't get drafted either. You drafted Westbrook pretty late. You know, getting those guys where you got them. I mean, I'm going to take that dart throw over trying to figure out the dart throw throughout every game of every single season, or every game in the entire season between these 3 wide receivers in LA. So, am I staying away from the Rams wide receivers? The answer is yes. Am I going to take a dart throw? Yes, and it's on the Jaguars, and yes, and it's going to be on DJ Shark.
I know I have Woods as I did a startup this year and ended up with them as my wide receiver 1, more of a super flex and running back heavy approach. So I know for me, like that's again, it's a position where you almost don't think about it, right? Like, okay, well, I'll take the risk of him going off and him being on the bench is worth too much to ever do that. So I'll take the bad games. He did get week 1, he had 13 targets. We only caught 8 of them, which isn't the greatest catch rate, but I don't know. I think the future can still be bright, at least in the immediate future. Looking at, I think his contract, he's still like all 3 of them are still signed for the next couple of years. So I doubt that the Rams really invest heavily in bringing a wide receiver with an early pick. If anything, they'll probably try and shore up the O-line or just add pieces to the defense again as high priority draft picks. So you really don't think, as great as the 2020 rookie class is, that those guys are in risk of losing their jobs. I don't know. I think you can kind of count on them for the next 2-3 years, all three of them, whichever one you have.
So who's the best wide receiver in that offense?
And again, it depends what you need, right? If it's a league where touchdowns are more important, then maybe I would definitely say Cooper Kupp. He seems to be out. I guess classic Rams, meaning last year, outside of Gurley running, Kupp was their like number one red zone weapon. So if you for God forbid play standard, Kupp might be the answer there, right?
Oh, I got a standard league. It kills me. It's one of my work leagues.
I still have 2 standard leagues with some old friends.
Painful, man. Painful. But who would have thought that Eastern Washington would produce a stud wide receiver?
Let me ask you guys this: when it comes to DJ Chark, what if I'm trying to propose a trade and I'm going to bring up a name that I think we touched on last week, Gabe. What happens if I bring you my Matt Breida for DJ Chark? Who are you taking?
DJ Chark.
Chark, easy, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That question.
Okay. Let me get a little spicier. Royce Freeman. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say at the start of the year, it almost seemed like Matt Breida would be the goal line back, considering Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, but he's gotten barely any red zone work. It's all Jeff Wilson. So yeah. Agree, Chark.
Jeff Wilson show. What if I go Royce Freeman or DJ Chark?
I'd still go Chark.
I think I'm a little on the Freeman side there. I'm a big believer in Royce. I'm a big believer.
That's a tougher question. That's a tougher question, but I would still go Chark.
My Freeman bias is strong too. I was pretty high on him coming in that class. So yeah, definitely tougher.
God, I was higher than everyone on DJ Chark, I think, coming out of that class. I mean, I wasn't like
ours were too. I think it was a surprise for him to come in the second round.
Yeah, no, he blew up the combine. There was a lot of concerns about his drops coming in the year, but like he blew up the combine, the gauntlet he just destroyed. So I mean, I think a lot of questions were answered during the combine, and a lot of people, it's one of those things where you fall in love with that. And I mean, I think he's coming around. I think this is the year for him. I think Gardner Minshew, I think he's going to put Nick Foles' job into question. I really do think that. And
it's almost started.
You're right. He already has. Yeah, but when it comes to it, whatever week Nick Foles plans on coming back, I think it's going to be a big question. Like, all right, what are we going to do? And I think they got some good chemistry between Minshew and Chark.
Quietly, I bet the Jags are hoping, okay, just take your time. You really don't need to rush back. Like, really want to make sure.
No, seriously, Nick. Just chill. Sit down somewhere.
It's the catch-22, right? If Minshew is playing so bad that they need him, they'll probably be out of the playoff race. No point bringing back Foles. But if he plays so well that they're in a playoff race, why do you tamper with that? And
I don't know. It's the AFC South.
True. Yeah, I guess that is the division that could happen. You're right.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I do believe in the Texans.
Yeah.
I think Tunsil getting there like right at the end of training camp. Offensive line chemistry is important. I think as the year goes on, they're going to gel better. And I don't know. As great as the Jags defense is, I'd be surprised if the Texans didn't win this division. But
oh man, they got.
I think their best football's ahead of them.
They drafted, drafted Titus Howard, which was absolutely shocking for a first round tackle. That is like average.
On the draft card, there was a spot on the East or the West Alabama. They just thought it was Alabama. And
yeah. Oh, geez. No, but they drafted that kid, Nate Sharping. He was a tackle out of Northern Illinois, I believe it was, and they moved him inside, and he's probably their best offensive lineman outside of Laramie Tunsil. Like that's one guy I was like extremely high on, and I was hoping they move inside, and they moved him inside, and he looks like a stud now. Watch
Very
out.
Interesting. Dude, I'm really that's gonna as poopy as that division kind of can be at times. The absolute slobber knockers on Thursday nights. That's going to be a fun one to watch down the stretch. And obviously we're just getting started, right? But the Colts showing off that they've got life. I'm watching Quentin Nelson just destroy people and that's not hyperbole. Like he is working people something awful at all levels. It's a lot of fun to watch him play, but that offensive line does work. Jacoby Brissett's pretty good. Your boy Gabe Brisket. Speaking of your boy Gabe.
No, come on. Are you seriously going to flex on our? I will tear you down, my friend.
Oh, listen. Shout out to the guys over at the Super Flexible Pod. We got the guest on there last week, and we played a little game called Duds versus Studs, and again, shout out to 2 Drink and Swags on this, or as we're calling him now, DFF Wags, leaving the S off. We played the game, and I won the game, setting the highest score that the game's ever seen in the history of games and fun and gamesmanship. You had a solid strategy. You had a really solid score, picking Jacoby Brissett to outscore Aaron Rodgers. It was great, but Teddy, as I used to call him, 2 Gloves Teddy.
Yep.
Teddy 2 Gloves.
I like to switch that around because I'm a nerd.
My dude.
2 Gloves. Yeah, 2 Gloves Teddy making things happen. So, I wasn't going to flex until you mentioned the word flex, but yeah, I was. I figured we might want to. You don't want to talk about that much? No.
Yeah, I want to talk about it now because you brought it up. So
sweet.
So the game is, for those who are unfamiliar, is that basically you are trying to pick a low percentage QB to beat a high percentage QB. The larger the gap, the more points you get, and you also get points on top of the difference in actual fantasy points they score. Teddy beat who'd you? Oh, you picked Baker Mayfield, the guy who's been struggling for 2 weeks straight and hasn't been a consistent QB1 like people are drafting him to be. And you picked up Teddy Bridgewater, who the only reason he is 1% owned in leagues is because maybe the Hall of Fame quarterback in front of him injured himself in that week before, and his ownership wasn't up yet. I dare you to look at that ownership now, J. Mike, and I bet it's higher than Jacoby Brisket, son. Chalk, you're a cheater. You're a chalk cheater.
Listen, Linda, listen. The game is the game. I played the game. I won the game. That pretty much settles it. As much as you may not want to like the fact that Baker Mayfield's been struggling, Baker Mayfield's still 90-something% owned. Like there's no getting around that. The stats are the stats. The numbers are the numbers. As Peter Howard would say, stats are for nerds, and that's how he gets down. So, listen, you can call me a DJ Chalker if you want to. You can call me.
Nice.
I'm just saying you can call me a lot of things, but at the end of all of that, you're gonna have to call me Duds versus Studs champion.
J. Mike, you are the Duds versus Studs champion.
Hooray!
That was very cordial of you guys.
Thanks. Sorry, we had to play that out in front of everyone. But
no, facts are facts. But I just had to let the people know. What the real story is behind everything. I had some fun with it. My boy Jacoby, everyone's favorite quarterback, Aaron. I mean, I feel like I took a risk. I took a risk it with that one, okay? And you, my friend, went chalk. But I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to say that you were the one to defeat me.
I appreciate you being the bigger man here because I refuse to be in this current moment. One last
talk
question
about
I
these
will
QBs,
ask you.
J. Mike.
Who do you want to talk about?
Well, all 4 QBs involved here. I mean, I think they're all worthy topics of talking.
Where do you guys in the year? How do we look at them moving forward? How do you rank those guys?
Well,
let's do that.
What were the 4 names again? Just drop them.
And
again.
Are we doing redraft dynasty? Because I feel like it gets scary when you.
Let's just say rest of season. Rest of season.
Yeah.
So there's Teddy 2 Gloves. There's Gardner Minshew. # shoe ball.
That's not who I picked.
No, it's not who you picked. But I'm saying you said 4 names, right? We want to put all 4 of those guys in, or no?
Where did our 5th person go?
He has to take a little leave of absence here. He'll be back.
He'll be right. He'll be back.
Did he wink? Did he blink?
Or Tiddlywinks? What? No.
Is he okay?
He's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right.
Tell.
All right.
Okay, so are we doing all 4 quarterbacks?
Yes, but I think we have to establish who the 4 are.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We can throw in Shuval for the 5th if you want, but I don't think that he's involved. I think it's Brissett, Aaron Rodgers, Baker, and Teddy Two Gloves.
Okay.
Oh, you mean our guys? Okay, I'm with you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm tracking now. Rest of season. Well, I don't think I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers first. I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going with the brisket first, to be perfectly honest.
Let's go.
I really do think so. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been rough through these first 3 weeks. Like, he's been a quarterback too. He hasn't been good. And he's been slowly falling off the face of the earth in terms of like his efficiency and stuff over the last like 3-4 years. So not big on him. I'm sorry, Packers fan in the room, but I think I'm going to go brisket. I'll still put Rodgers second. And then I'm forgetting now.
Baker and Teddy.
Baker and then Teddy. Yeah, I'd go that order.
It's like I knew you were going to say that. And yeah, I guess the bias is true with Rodgers. You're right. I mean, he's barely reaching 200 yards, 1 touchdown a game. That's definitely not the numbers we're accustomed to seeing at all with him. I don't know. I guess through 2 weeks, you could say, oh, okay, it was the Bears defense and the Vikings defense. Right? And suddenly it's like, okay, it was the Broncos defense who can't get sacks. So it's, I don't know. It's tough to start defending it now. Does seem like that team wants to run a lot. LaFleur seems to apparently like to run the ball, which I guess isn't that different than Mike McCarthy. But
yeah, with Jamal Williams. Sorry to interrupt there.
Well,
but
I don't know. Here's the thing. Jones is still the most explosive, looks the best, but there's a few times in that game where he was taking things east-west instead of north-south a little too much. Williams is definitely making better decisions at that to kind of at least be gaining positive yards on plays. Now, Jones did have a really good run on his touchdown from the 7-yard line. And yeah, he got into the line and the contact balance to stay up, and it looked like he was going down around the 2 and then just managed to stay up and get in the end zone. So that showed a lot on that run. But yeah, there's a lot of times he was taking things, trying to bounce things to the outside, and a lot of times it wasn't working. Denver, it's funny because, we can look at Denver had 0 sacks, but they constantly had guys coming at Rodgers. He was just throwing the ball away so much. I counted at least 5 or 6 throwaways, which, I guess with Rodgers, he usually tries to extend as much as possible and find something somewhere, but he wasn't having any of that anymore. Yeah. It does seem tempting to put Brissett at 1 just because of how well he's playing. I think I'd still go Rodgers because especially if T.Y. Hilton's injury is serious, I think Rodgers' supporting cast at receiver is better than what Brissett has. The problem with Mayfield is the offensive line. If he can't find time, and as we talked about, if he could throw on the run like Trubisky, then he'd probably be number 1. But yeah. I think Kent's order is actually probably where I would go if that was a really long answer for that.
I have a really hard time putting Teddy last because I think that as the season goes, and obviously Brees comes back, right? That's a whole nother story. But as the season goes, we're going to continue to watch Sean Payton leverage him in such a way to get the ball in the playmaker's hands in that offense. And I don't think that everything has to be super downfield, which I think in the past we've noticed or people have pointed out that that's not Teddy Bridgewater's strong suit is the deep ball. So I don't know that I want to put him last, but I have a hard time not putting him last.
So I'm one of the people who's part of that 1% that had him before the Brees injury. I had him in a couple dynasty contract spots. Speaking of Superflex, I'm in a contract league with some of the Superflex Super Show guys, James Catullus, John Hogue, Stompy. So I took Bridgewater in the startup auction this year, and I have the chance to extend him next year if Brees decides to retire. I have a cheap quarterback, and if not, I can just let him go and figure it out with a different quarterback. So yeah, it's just a couple spots I kind of just in dynasty spots taking him. Put him there in Superflex. You may as well, as a 4th quarterback, hold him if you never know, right? You never know how long Brees is going to play. And then, obviously, we didn't see this injury coming. high-fiving Aaron Donald. It's not always the greatest idea.
Supposed to look at the elbow when you're high-fiving, man. He's looking at receivers.
Yeah, wide downfield. Come on.
Classic mistake.
He's old enough to know better. You know better, Drew Brees.
Right.
Rookie mistake. Man. Can we talk about the horrendous trades that Peter Howard sends me every week at this point?
Yes.
And okay, great. He does this often because right obviously we know that N'Keal Harry is his guy, right? We know that. And he'll do anything for N'Keal. He'll even stoop so low as to send you trash offers to get N'Keal Harry. Over the last week or so, he sent me trades like Antonio Callaway for N'Keal Harry. And he's doing it simply to get under my skin because he knows that it does. It's not even like he's not even being for real. He's just doing it now as a 100% troll job. 100% troll job. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about, he sent me Antonio Callaway for N'Keal Harry. He sent me Cole Beasley for N'Keal Harry.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Is he trolling you? Fact. Peter, are you trolling?
That's a big troll.
Is he hoping that you just like don't see it properly and click? Like Cowboys wide receiver. Oh, Amari Cooper?
No, we even talked about it.
Cole Beasley's not there anymore. Yeah. That's how confused you'd have to be. That's what he's banking on, and you still think he's on the Cowboys.
he told me he's going to continue to send these trades, and he's going to be disappointed if I accept any of them because it won't be fun for him anymore. Those were his words. It's just 100 to be able to get at me, which obviously Peter Howard, great friend of the show, great friend of ours. I love that dude. He's good people.
Great dude.
Love you, love you, Peter.
Yeah, love you, Peter Howard. You're great people, but you send me one more Cole Beasley for N'Keal Harry trade, and I'm driving straight to your doorstep. I know where you live, and we're just gonna duke it out on the spot. I had to get that out.
That's fair. I'm a little upset. You know, Harry's my boy too. So I mean, he's trying to ironically level Beasley with our boy Harry. I mean,
the beat. Yeah. Yep. He's trying to get at me. He's trying.
Mm-hmm.
Next week he tries to trade Moncrief for Harry.
Oh, gross.
Listen.
On this week of PA Howdy's shitty trade offers.
Man, I don't even know how anyone would have Moncrief Ross. I'm dropping Moncrief in dynasty leagues. I do not. I'm done. I'm out. It's just there's no point anymore. You get sat for 3. Well, obviously Juju, but like James Washington and Deontay Johnson. What are you even doing? I mean, they're good players, but you should be able to beat out one of them. And he has just been terrible this year. Absolutely terrible. So. I'm done. I just don't even want to bother anymore.
Wow.
What's Harry's value for you guys? Is it just one of those things where it's kind of static because he's away, or has he lost value at all for you all?
I mean, he was my 101, I think, for a while, but that might have shifted a little with Josh Jacobs near the end. But I think he's still valuable because. Frankly, Edelman's up there in age. Josh Gordon is a big question mark at all times. Even though he looks like he's back on track, he still is. They got Jacoby Myers, but I mean, beyond that, there's really not much there. So Harry could be 1 or 2 years away from being the number one on this team, and it's a good spot to be, even if Tom Brady's going to be 1 foot in the grave by then. I don't know. I think Belichick will find a way to figure it out, and they'll be fine.
Kent, you're probably right.
Is it just me, or does N'Keal Harry still seem like a really strange Belichick pick? Like he tends to not like those guys that are just contested catch guys. He likes the elite separators. Saying that Belichick was going to take a receiver in the first round, I'd have guessed it would have been AJ Brown. Like if he had to take one from this class, that seems more like a Belichick type receiver. So the fact that they took him in the first round, even though it goes against Belichick's usual sort of ethos for receivers, that's got to say a lot, doesn't it? I mean, I'm seeing that as they must really like his physical abilities for them to kind of go with against what Belichick usually stands for.
I mean, that's probably right, but the problem is how many wide receivers have they whiffed on drafting?
Yeah.
I think that's the only knock against it, I guess. But I think you're right. Obviously, they have high hopes for him, and he's as stellar of a prospect as anybody.
Supposedly,
we're all
Thomas
definitely waiting for Renfro's contract to end. Sorry,
actually, the talk last year, I remember with Edelman getting suspended, was how much in the slot Philip Dorsett was going to play. And I'm trying to remember back to the season if that actually came to fruition. I remember in training camp that was kind of the big talk. So maybe Philip Dorsett's the long-term play at slot receiver there.
Well,
perfect
in
segue.
the so-called chat, people say these things, and we're missing Zach right now. So I'm sort of half blocking faces here, and I'm going to remove the comment in just a moment, but I will read it aloud for those listening in podcast form the next day to the open bar that is live on Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern ish. You could be here reading these comments right on the freaking screen, bro. Gee whiz. Anyway, Joshua Bigby on the YouTube says, can we talk about how the former Colt receiver bust that is actually reviving his career is not Moncrief, but instead Dorsett?
I feel like this is when we need the air
where
horn.
One Dorsett opens, another Dorsett. I don't know. I made that joke with Peter one time, and I think it worked. But what do we think about Dorsett?
When one door opens, one door sets. That's what we think about Philip Dorsett.
Mars.
Dude,
Mars.
that's my answer.
Wow.
Well, as we continue to answer that question, I'm curious. Do you guys know where Philip Dorsett is on the season right now in points per game? PPR leagues. What wide receiver would you guess he is at this point?
He's got to be probably top 20, right? He's got like three touchdowns, I think.
I figured wide receiver 2, top 20.
He does have 3 touchdowns. That's correct.
Let's go 18.
Yeah.
18.
Gabe's going 18.
Just because there have been so many, like you mentioned, so many 3 touchdown performances, I'm going to say wide receiver 21.
I'll stick with my gut of 20.
Big winner. And if this was Price is Right, we'd have that awkward, weird, disgusting horn going off right now. On the head with the guess of 21 overall. Ooh, Kyle Stenberg.
Hey. Wow. Doesn't that double the prize, right? Isn't that the gig or something? You get 2 Philip Dorsetts.
What am I giving up for him?
Absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
And that's the thing. Right now, he's wide receiver 21.
You take him on Moncrief then.
Yeah. he's averaging 17 points a game right now.
Wow.
And obviously, he's got the big dud in week 2 against Miami when everybody was eating. He had the dead game, but 4 for 95 against Pittsburgh with 2 touchdowns, and then 7 for 53 against the Jets for a touchdown last week. So Philip Dorsett can anybody buying this? Anybody ready to throw their second out for Philip Dorsett?
Nope.
Well, let me ask this: what would he have to do to
what does he
engender the good enough
do?
will?
What does he have to do? I mean, consistency is definitely important to me. I mean, I feel like he either gets 2 touchdowns or none, and then like could end up with like just a handful of yards. I mean, his first couple of years with this is his 3rd year with the Patriots now. Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. So I mean, his first 2 years were kind of lackluster, and you would think that he would have some opportunity to push into that depth chart, even though Gronk was still there. They didn't have Gordon then, so Edelman and some other pieces. But I mean, why now, right? I mean, why he could just have a good 3-game stretch and maybe disappear back into nothingness. I don't know. Tom Brady's arm ain't getting any stronger these days, and you did mention he's moving more into the slot, which is accurate, so that could help him out. But I don't know. I'm just not willing to really pay too much for him to find out right now. I guess that's the biggest thing. Is it cheap enough? Sure, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get him on my dynasty rosters.
Yeah, 2020 second. A 2021 second. However, again, being that many years away, I'd definitely consider it.
Okay.
Again, I've liked what I've seen in him. I guess I thought he was under contract longer, but I guess not. This is the last season he's under contract. He's an unrestricted free agent next year, so
yeah.
Perhaps he's not in the Patriots' long-term plans, and then that outlook looks a little bleaker. Where does he go? Where he's gonna? I mean, I guess there's potential spots you could go where he sees more volume, but is he going to really play with a quarterback that can kind of have that same type of efficiency?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he does have a breakout season like you guys are kind of thinking about. That would only make his price go up, which means he's probably not going to be a Patriot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right now he's averaging the highest yards per target of his career, 13.4 yards per target, and he's got 14.4 yards per reception. So he's I don't know. You probably wouldn't even have to pay the second. Like if you have him, chances are you got him off the waiver wire, right? Even in your dynasty league, you got him off the waiver wire. And I would like to think that people will happily sell him even for like a 2021 third. I don't know that anyone's like, man, I got to keep Dorsett because his value is gonna, boom or whatever. I don't know if that's the case. So
sure.
Yeah.
Is that enough Dorsett talk for you, Gabe? Did we get your quota for that?
I was just gonna tweet out something between Dorsett and Windows closing. So I don't know. Kyle, you got anything for me? You kind of hit it with the doors and setting, and what you got?
I'm locked for jokes right now.
Oh, shit. All right.
At Canadian times, got him locked up, man.
Yeah.
you got to catch him at the right time.
Pour one out for Malcolm Mitchell.
I almost froze there.
Roster respect, yes. the classic Peter Howard hashtag. Roster respect.
Yeah.
Oh, sadness abounds.
Gosh,
what else
haven't we talked about?
Yeah, we've run the gamut this week.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to close out with? Or what do you want to keep going?
Guess. What do you have? What do you have for us?
Can we talk about how Dalvin Cook is going to be the league rushing winner this year? Get that title. He is crushing it right now. Got to give a shout out to at least one of my Vikings players. We haven't talked about them too much. So Dalvin Cook, incredible right now.
I mean, it is him, Calf, and Kamara.
Yeah.
For the top spot overall. I don't see anyone catch Zeke. I guess you can put Zeke in there, but he's been just consistent, like just been that like 4th or 5th overall guy, like hitting his ADP, but definitely not having elite games like Calf and I guess Cap more than Kamara, but boy, howdy. Yeah. Sorry. This is about Dalvin Cook. My goodness. Welcome. Yes, I'm in.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. He's doing what a lot of people hope that he would, just in terms of his work on the ground with his talent. I don't know that anybody foresaw the RB1 right now, right? So
right,
obviously against Atlanta, they couldn't stop an off tackle play to save their lives. So he just dances all over them, and he's continued to do that week in and week out, while offering a few receptions each week too. So. Dalvin is well on his way, and not getting an absurd amount per game in terms of rushing attempts. So maybe it's not going to be a case where he wears out or tires out. Maybe it is a case where he still only gets maybe 250 carries on the season, and it's not something that's like disgustingly over his threshold or over typical RB thresholds to get there. So yeah, he's well on his way, and that stratosphere. I think in that little group preseason ADP, if we look back, I think it would have been like Dalvin, Carry On. I I can't think who else would be right there in that tier. Aaron Jones, Marlon Mack, those type of guys.
Maybe a Freeman.
Why you got to do that, Tim?
Hey, again, I took him there a lot too. So I feel your pain.
I'll tell you what, though, it's been a bumpy road getting here for Dalvin Cook so far.
Yep.
I mean, if you did draft him, so if
you still got to be nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexander Mattison should be 1,000% on your roster behind Cook if you can make that happen.
I actually got lucky in one of my leagues and made that happen, but like the snap counts have been sort of like we see Kamara getting like 88% of the snaps and Cook last week only 60%. I guess that was a big blowout. More telling might be the Packers game, just because that was so much closer of a contest. Yeah. 72% of snaps, 68 against the Falcons, and that was a blowout too. So he's getting the majority, but it's never those like not like 100% McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yeah.
And I guess to another point, that's maybe why Zeke hasn't been necessarily getting that elite production. He's only seen 70. I think last week was 67% of the snaps. Again, blowout games, right? Eventually, Dallas isn't going to. They're going to play decent football teams eventually. So, but I guess that's the hope with Zeke is that as the games get more competitive, his usage will have to go up because they're going to need him every touch of his and maybe be throwing him the ball more instead of just. I guess Dak's throwing to the wide receivers really well, and Witten being back probably hurts. I guess maybe it kind of makes sense that the 1 year Jason Witten retired is the year that Zeke sees a career high in targets. So maybe Witten's taking more than we, I guess, originally anticipated. I know I was definitely in the Zeke 101 talk this year, as long, suspensions aside. Once we knew he was playing, especially in the Scott Fish Bowl, but that was more the scoring. And the Zeke, with him, it's so easy for him to get a 100-yard game. And maybe as the games get more competitive, he's going to have to get 100 and 150-yard games for them to win. That's when, things are going to go up for Zeke to where, we're going to talk about him as being one of those top 4 running backs. But I guess with Barkley out now, we can't talk about him. So that top 4 opens up for Cook. So
that's why I said it. Yep. So we're going back to Gallman. Okay. So how much?
Full circle.
He is the sun to this solar system. It all revolves around Wayne Gallman.
Indeed.
If only Paul Perkins still had the job.
Orleans Darkwa. I want him back, man. I want him back.
I don't know. I was kind of a Perkins truther, so I definitely was on Team Perkins.
Yeah.
Definitely not a perky ride. Didn't perk me up to see.
Hey.
No.
You know what's funny about that, Kent? And I'm so glad you brought that up about Dalvin. And I'm so glad that we kind of connected Zeke in PPR leagues. Dalvin's RB1 right now. Zeke is RB number 11. Mm-hmm. They literally have a difference of 2 rushing attempts and 4 receptions. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? So from a workload perspective, they're right there together. Dalvin's got 2 more touchdowns and about 40 more yards receiving, and obviously about 100 more yards, almost 100 more yards rushing. So the workload,
the run against the Packers made a difference.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook had a solid 6.6 yards per attempt right now. Just absurd. I don't think it's
sustainable.
Yeah, that ain't sustainable. But I tell you what, in that Kubiak outside zone run scheme, he is meshing right now, man.
Yeah. So let's do this. Is there what's the price to pay? Either if you're selling Dalvin or if you're trying to go get him, like how do you acquire him at this point?
Ooh, it's going to be pricey. I mean, I'll tell you that much. It's because how do you not trade him in at least, well, depending on how your roster's built. I mean, if you're talking pure like pick value, it's got to be 2 firsts. I mean, is that too much? I feel like it isn't though.
I almost say that might not be enough.
Yeah,
if we're just talking pure pick. Around that, 2.5. Like you don't want to say 3, but it does feel like 2 or 3.
If it's two 2020 picks, I think I'm all for it. And if it's anything other than that, you got to throw in more. Yeah. So
yeah, because if I was selling Cook and I could get 3 picks, obviously I think I'd take that. But yeah, two seems. Why do I want to do? Especially if I feel like I can win this year. Why would I want to give up? Which is arguably, if you have Cook, he's probably your best chance in your team to win. So to just get two first for it, as much as tough to give up a chance to win, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say something like that is if you're built to take a run this year for a championship, then you probably hold Cook and play him. But if you're anywhere in the middle to the bottom of the pack, you sell. You sell right now because the injury history is no joke. And I mean, this is the peak of his value. You probably held on to him for a long time after drafting him. I doubt many people sold him low. A lot of people believed in his talent and was waiting for the opportunity, and the injuries kept coming. So if you're going to sell, now is the time.
That's a good point.
Are we okay with him in that stratosphere, or maybe not the Zeke Kamara level, or maybe we are, but has he entered the group that's right behind them or with them?
I kind of thought he was there already, to be honest, but I thought that group was pretty large. Like, Gurley's the X factor, right? He should either be in that first group or in like the third group if with the injury concerns. That second group's kind of weird for him, but like David Johnson, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Le'Veon Bell, Nick Chubb, like that's all to me. That was all one big group of guys.
Yeah, that group right now is kind of weird. I mean, they're all sort of underperforming except for Dalvin Cook, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely he was up there for me, probably in the running back, going into this season, if you're doing startups, probably like running back 6 or 7, somewhere in that range. You had a few guys in front of him, but he's definitely running back 1 territory.
I think especially as the season went on, earlier startups, you probably saw him earlier just because the injury concerns, but then as you look at, especially after that big round of the preseason, that would have shot up to for sure a first round pick.
Yep, absolutely.
Because I snagged him, I think like 210 or 211, and I think that startup happened like in June.
Good on you. Golly. I feel like there are so many times right now, there are so many players that are doing really well that you're like, I keep telling these stories on like, man, I like Dalvin Cook's talent. Like, why didn't I in the offseason think more about this, with the fact that everything Kubiak touches is gold when it comes to the running game, his own running scheme. Like, why didn't I put 2 and 2 together? I've said that so many times early this season, and man, it's really hard not to kick yourself when you feel like you didn't, with as much prep work as we do, with as much as we keep up with. I don't know. I feel like that's something so obvious that we just missed, or maybe not missed. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but that should have been a slam dunk. Not that he's RB1 right now, but that he's super productive. Like that, we should have known that. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I just went and looked. I did a startup pretty much right before the season started, and Dalvin Cook went 203 there. Granted, that was a Minnesota dynasty league. Guys like the Dynasty Trade Calculator guys, Izzy and Hurley were in that. Thor Nystrom, few Minnesota guys were in that. So, he went pretty early there.
Well, obviously, considering the production, now we look at it as, that's a steal. Almost a 203. So
203, still a steal. Yep.
All right. Gabe, I'm out of bullets, man.
I was looking at the top 12 running backs and seeing who was drafted in the top 12 of running backs. Anyone want to guess you can guess. I'll read off. I don't know. J-Mike, how should I do it? You're good at this. Should we just guess a number, or should I put off names and y'all can guess if they're in the top 12 or not? I feel like that would be too easy though.
Let's do the names.
All right, fine.
Just because that's more compelling. Maybe it takes a tad longer, but it's more compelling that way.
Okay, Mr. Compel over here.
You know what? Just don't ask my opinion. Don't. I'll mute, and you do you, boo boo.
I'm just kidding. I love you. Just loading up my PPR ADP from Fantasy Football Calculator, the calculator for all of fantasy football, unless of course you were doing dynasty trades. Then head over to Dynasty Trade Calculator. But don't stop there. If I I'm just trying to waste time to get to the running backs. Okay. Saquon Barkley, and we will do well, there haven't been bye weeks, so it doesn't matter. Total points. Saquon Barkley in PPR in top 12 or nah?
Enough touchdowns, yes.
Yeah, I think he still is.
Yep.
McCaffrey.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
At 11 earlier.
Yeah.
Kamara.
Yeah.
Yes.
J Mike.
Yep.
Sorry.
J Mike, I don't think he's in the top 12.
He's in my top 12. He's
Hashtag
not.
UDFAs matter. Good grief.
You could probably have better yards per carry than the actual Bengals running back, so he can may as well just go play for Cincinnati.
Yes.
He's top 3, and he's not 3, and he's not 2.
Hey.
Le'Veon Bell.
No.
He
might be on receptions.
Just on a volume PPR with enough receptions.
Alone,
Yeah.
Okay. I believe we won Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, we've gone through half, and you have said, I believe, kind of consensus. You've said that the top 6 are still in the top 12. Nick Chubb is next.
No.
What will Chubb?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yeah.
I say no. I think just the one touchdown probably limits him, even in PPR.
I think he's got to be close. He's got to be close. Oh, you said Gurley. Sorry.
No, keep Chubb if you'd like. Pause.
I'm saying yes for Chubb. Pause.
Okay. Indeed. Gurley.
No.
No.
Fournette.
No.
No.
I mean, I don't even think he's finished as an RB1 in 1 week. So
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
What's crazy is if you looked at the snaps played for the entire year, just ranked from most to least, and running backs, Fournette would be possibly the top one if it's not McCaffrey. And spoiler alert, he's not in the top 12, but it's so weird to me to play that many snaps and not be productive. But moving on, Chris Carson.
No.
I'm gonna say no from this last week.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That first week was great, but I don't think it's enough to keep him top 12. So no.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe Chris Carson was 10th overall. What were y'all thinking? Devontae Freeman.
No.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
Yeah. All that red zone.
No. I mean, last week he was pretty ineffective, right? So I don't think he's probably there now.
Yeah, kind of just had a big week 1.
Yeah, because I guess week 2. I thought week 2 was good, but I guess not.
So top 6 appear to be pretty safe, and the latter 6 do not. So and I kind of felt that way going into drafts, at least, and this is redraft ADP. I'm sorry, you dynasty dweebs. There's another podcast name for alliterations in dynasty. Go ahead and take that one and shove it. All right, so we've got we've got our top 12 here. Austin Eckler is your number 1 overall running back, at least in this scoring that I have in some league that I have with PPR scoring. It could be Cook or it could be Eckler, whatever. Anyway, it is Eckler, then Dalvin Cook, and then McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the 6th over. That's so weird.
Touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hasn't he scored in every game?
I think he has.
Has he really? Wow. Okay.
Unless he didn't score in the second game. I'm not entirely sure. But I know that, yeah. All right. Anyway, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Marlon Mack, Phillip Lindsay. It's kind of a surprise. Mostly because of that last
strong
game.
week 3. Yeah.
And then Ezekiel Elliott and Nick Chubb. Barkley is 13th, just outside. So
wow.
From our top 12, we have 1 in Cook, 2 in Calf, 3 in Kamara, 4 in Bell, 5 in David Johnson, 6 in Zeke, 7 in Chubb. So through 3 weeks, we can count on 7 of our top 12 running backs.
Wow.
So fun. Fantasy's
like we all predicted.
Right.
That's honestly not terrible. 7 is not terrible.
There have been worse years.
Yes.
When
indeed.
when CJ Spiller was a first round pick.
Oh my
right.
god.
And I think and I know this is, cheating or in whatever sense, but I mean Saquon, that he's 13th, and had he, not injured so early in the game, even that, like, he'd be in the top 12. But then I guess you got to kick out Chubb. But I think, 8 out of 12, 7 out of 12, whatever is pretty solid. Chris Carson,
Also, I did look it up.
Week 1, he looked good. Week 1, he looked fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Bengals, right?
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Yeah. Explains a lot.
I looked up Derrick Henry. He did score a touchdown in week 2, so that's 5 touchdowns through 3 games, and only one of them on the ground. Everything else has been receiving.
Really? It's 4 receptions?
Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Okay, yeah,
that's scrimmage. That's total scrimmage. Okay, so it's 4 total. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've all been 1 rushing touchdown each game, and then a receiving touchdown. The 75-yarder. That okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong spot.
All right.
Obviously, it's late.
Yeah, and we'll try to wind down here. One thing from the chat: shout out to my son Jesse Reeves in the building.
Yeah.
He came back through.
Awesome.
he said you guys are still studs.
And I know we joked about with Zach with the facial hair, but Jesse would shame us all with his facial hair.
Yeah,
like that's Studley.
Jesse's got a beard on him. That's right.
Yeah,
strong beard game. He says
strong football game too. He knows his stuff.
For sure, That's my boy. Chip off the old block. How many 20? I said it with a straight face. That was funny. How many 2020 picks does it take to get Davante Adams on your roster? Kamish / Deltron in the building with us. He said probably 2 2020 firsts and a player. And I said, hey, can I get Christian Kirk and 2 2020 firsts for Davante Adams? What do you guys think about that?
Ooh, give me Kirk and 2 firsts.
Okay.
On that specific trade. I'd say 2 firsts and a lesser player is about where I'm at.
Yeah, that makes about sense. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, the question is to give up Adams to get this package, right, J Mike?
I don't know. Excuse me. His original question was how many 2020 picks does it take to get Davante on your roster?
Oh, so okay, giving up. Like, what's the limit you'll give up at? I suppose, right?
Yes. I just threw out Kirk and 2 2020 firsts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess with Kirk, the interesting thing is, assuming Fitzgerald's the number 1 there, but even so, he's still producing with Fitzgerald as number 1. So imagine what happens when he becomes the number 1. Yeah, I guess the possibilities there could be pretty endless. And then 2 extra 2020 first. It probably is enough for me to give up Adams to get that.
I think then Andy Isabella becomes the number 1. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, he is a slot receiver like Fitzgerald's playing now, so.
You missaid Damiere Byrd, but it's cool.
J Mike, that's enough.
No one's going to say Hakeem Butler. Not this year, anyway.
That's a yikes from me, dog.
Big yikes. All right, I'm done. Sorry. That was a good question, though. I thought that was a fun one to close out with.
Yes, I believe we are approaching the 2-hour mark, and you just never know what'll happen if I keep talking and asking questions and maybe start recognizing the chat. And I just can't do that. We got to have some respect. So we'll do some goodbyes. First of all, I had a blast with strangers, complete and utter strangers. I didn't know you guys one bit. I feel like we could go out and do some ring around the rosy at this point. all 4 of us, usually 5, but let's start there. Matter of fact, we went down to 4 because we lost one of ours. I will go ahead and tout our friend Zach. I'm going to go and find his Twitter handle. It is at NFL_Zach. He is the CEO / head scout at the Draft Room GX. He's a dynasty writer at Gridiron Experts. He's a writer at the Viking Age. He does Devi ranks at Dynasty HH Pod. We know those guys. FF expert at the Scoop KLGR, and he's an SFB9. Take that, haters.
You'll find him around. You certainly will.
Yes, you will.
The man's busy. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach, though. Thank you for coming on. Skull, my friend. Congratulations to you and the new lady. Hope things are, just so great for you and the future of. He has children. Oh yeah, he threw up all over his face. Yeah. All right. Good luck with that tonight. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And if it does happen, let's hope that it is a player that he didn't tout this offseason and is just blowing up in his face. Like a Cooper Kupp or something. All right. Anyway, Kent, on to the other Vikings fan. Skull, my friend. Skull, what do you say to the friends?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is a lot of fun, and I'm really glad to get on the show. It's always a good time. So I'm technically on hiatus from actually doing fantasy football things. So it's just for fun for me now because I have a kid on the way in about 2 weeks. Looking forward to that. So going to be a busy year for me, definitely during the football season. So I'll get back into it, when I get time. But you can catch me on Twitter at Kent Wyrock. If you need trouble or if you need help spelling that, you can check out the tweet that the Open Bar put out on their handle, and you'll find me in there. So rather than spelling it out for you, it's very German, super German. So
I love that last name. I wish that I had known that in the pre-show. I'm sorry, but
that's okay.
Wyrock, that's amazing.
Yeah,
how easy is that to make?
Fun fact:
hashtags and T-shirts.
In German, that means holy smoke.
What?
I'm just full of fun facts.
Gosh, Kent,
that's a hot fact.
Yeah.
Because where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well done, Kent.
Thanks,
that's
Thank you.
good.
Oh, gosh.
But seriously, for this to the first time that we get to be able to interact, thank you so much for coming through, and the fact that this was the first your first pod back after you're telling people that you were doing your Jordan retirement.
We brought him back.
We brought him back in the Jordan 45, so I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah,
not that we're so fantastic, but truly, Kent, we're grateful. So thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And quick shout out to my former podcast, the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Matt O'Connor and Matthew Betts are still out there just cranking out content. So those guys are awesome. I'm still in the backgrounds there for that stuff. So hopefully I'll get back into the mix soon enough. But yeah.
Wait a second before we go.
And holy smoke.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That's right. I'm Kent Holy Smoke coming at you live.
That's a great name. That's that. You got to use that.
On your. Why is that not on your handle right now?
Changing the Twitter handle currently.
Immediately. All right. Sorry.
I think Holy Smoke is a little easier to spell.
Yeah, it is. That is for sure.
Make sure you use the capital letters too. Otherwise, they're not sure where to put things. Could be like Ken Tholey.
Kentholi smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. On to the next. Kyle, my Canadian Canuck. Are those the same thing? What is a Canuck? I don't know what that is. What is that?
So I'm not even really sure. It's just a general term for Canadian, like Yankee is used for Americans. The Vancouver Canucks are an NHL team, and their mascot's an orca. But I don't really know if an orca is called a Canuck. I think that's just we're in Vancouver. There's orcas around, and Canuck because we're Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is. Yeah, I get it. Okay. So it's all redundant though. Canadian Canuck. I feel like Canuck it just sounds so aggressive when you say that to someone. Like it sounds mean.
It sounds un-Canadian, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the Canuck puck. It's the hockey thing, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Well, anyway, great to have you on. Would you like to share anything with the people that obviously came here for you?
Well, thank you, everyone, for showing up to the open bar and supporting these guys. I mean, I'm here to carry this now. No, I'll carry this about as much as Dontrell Hilliard should carry the ball the rest of the way for the Browns this year. How he got a red zone look in week 1, the goal line carry and Chubb did, that still baffled me. But anyway,
still thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm one of the co-hosts of the Full Press Fantasy Podcast, which is part of the Full Press Radio Network on Full Press Coverage. We're just full of that name. Keep saying it. It should be everywhere. Full Press Coverage is it's really a comprehensive sports website. The big focus is NFL, but we have team and staffs writing about NHL and some stuff about basketball and baseball coming too. For the most part, we've got a writing staff for each NFL team. So while I do the fantasy side, I'm the managing editor of Full Press Coverage Fantasy Sports, as well as Full Press Coverage Packers. There's a ton of great writers throughout all Full Press Coverage that do a lot of good work. I also write for Going for Two. I do weekly DFS stuff, mostly for Yahoo. I know DraftKings, FanDuel tend to be the really popular ones, but Yahoo does have their own DFS platform, and I've been playing on it for a few years. So check out for those who play Yahoo or want to learn about it, check out my weekly article on Going for Two, and I give you all the preferred player price points, as I call it, and several other alliterations, because as we know, alliterations are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Can confirm.
Mm-hmm. Also, SFB9.
Hey,
what's everyone's record, real quick, in SFB9?
I'm 1-2.
1-2.
2-1.
I'm with you, Kent. All right, cool. And I won with one quarterback this week. Okay, so take that, Eli and Ben. All right, heal up, Ben. Heal up, though.
I definitely spent all my budget to get Mason Rudolph.
I tried, but my good friend Ryan Miller, right? Ryan Miller, yes. NFL.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Good friend.
I'm sure it's not Smiler?
I'm sorry. There's J-Mike. We have way too many people on this fucking show because I am starting to not know people. I mean, I didn't even introduce myself to Kyle to start. I'm such an asshole. Okay, and I'm still sorry for that, Kyle. By the way, but
all good, Gabe.
Yeah. All right. So Ryan. And I played him this week, and he put all his money on Mason Rudolph, and I beat him. So take that. Don't go ahead of me and outbid me, bucko. All right. J-Mike, your turn. Say things.
Yep, it's the end of the show as we know it, and I feel fine. Mr. Sinra, obviously so good to have met you at the Expo, and I'm so glad we can have you on tonight, man. I have admired your work from afar, and as much as it warmed my heart for you to tell me that you dug what we do with it, with what I do with the Blitz as well. I wish we could have talked longer, because I was like, crap, I feel like there was more to be said between us talking through each other's work. So anyhow, glad I could find you on Twitter, and glad people were like, hey, it's this Kyle, because there's apparently 1,500 Kyles in Dynasty Twitter online, so it's a vast group.
I'm telling you.
But seriously, but truly, so glad to have met you and to continue to be able to chop it up with you on here. To our guests again, appreciate you guys. Zach, congrats on the sex and everything else you've got going on in life. To our chat, thank you all for rocking with us on a Tuesday night. You know, there's so many places that you could be, but you decided to be with us, so we appreciate that. Shout out to our store, the openbar.storenvy.com. You can find lots of t-shirts there, including our newest edition, the hashtag shoe ball, the shoe ball t-shirt for our new mayor, of Shuval County himself, Mr. Gardner Minshew, as well as the fact that for those of who have been checking for us on podcast form, you've asked and you've been so sad of late because we've not been on Apple because of a lot of nonsense that was going on behind the scenes. Well, good news, we are back on Apple Podcasts. So not only can you find us there again, obviously Stitcher, Podbean, even on Spotify, just about anywhere that you can find podcasts, we are there. So thank you, Apple, for getting your life together. We appreciate that. On Twitter, you can find myself at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. You can find the show's handle, the Open Bar Pod. And my better half, my main man, Bungie, aka Genius the MC, aka Mr. Steal Your Girl, aka Gearing of All Time, aka What Up Katie's Bay, Mr. Gabe Gearing at FF Man Bun. Gabe, take us home.
Katie's Bay, huh? Man, you best be careful, my man. All right.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate all her advances toward you on Twitter. I mean, I'm glad y'all had a good time, but it's Tuesday. I need you here. And Katie's the homie. Big fan of Katie. She's always good to us, always kind to us, gives her time and whatnot. But on Tuesday nights, I'm selfish with my time with you. I'm selfish.
That's fair.
Just saying.
She tried to sneak one away, man. She purchased a flight of beers. All right. It's four beers.
Exactly?
That's a good day.
I love Katie. Shout out to her again. Hashtag WBM. Inside jokes are the best. All right. What else? I want to do other shout outs. I want to shout out the Top Dog Dynasty because they gave me a shout out this morning for doing an intro for them, and I want to shout them back because I really genuinely had fun making that intro because with just dogs, and there's just so many fun references you can do with that in rapping and fantasy football. There's a lot of odd crossovers between there, but it was really fun. So shout out to that podcast and shout out to those people between the Quarter Hacks, FF Crusher, AJ Willie 2. Their real names, Karen, Chris, and Adam. So shout out to them. And thank you for giving me that opportunity. And for anyone else in the future that is going to give me an opportunity to write an intro for you, appreciate that. I will be getting a few out here soon. They'll be coming. But until then, we're just going to ride out the rest of this waiver week, this Thursday night week. What's the Thursday night game?
Packers Eagles.
Packers Eagles. That's right. That might be fun. Okay. What J Mike, we have shows till like 2023, right? Lined up.
Does he know he is muted?
Yeah, he doesn't know that. And now
I think he does now.
See, this is why you need to be here live every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern until about 12 a.m. Eastern. Ish. Shout out to everyone rocking with us still. Shout out to you two especially, still rocking with us. J Mike has to be here, so let's put some drinks up, do a little cheersy doodles. That can be for anyone here, that can be for anyone listening, that can be a fist, it can be water. We don't care. We're just happy you're here with us, all right? So until next week, man. Deuces.